Here I wanted to show what I'm doing here is I'm going to be loading some tracers. These are actually 62 grain tracers. You put them on scale, I actually got 61, but I won't tell anyone. What I wanted to show you here, what you've got right here in my hand is a 55 grain full metal jacket. Put it right there. Right here is a 75 grain full metal jacket. This is a Hollow Point Sierra Match King. Super 75 grain, super accurate round. See the length differences there? Now this is a 62 grain tracer. Look at that. It's longer than the 75 grain, and it's a 62 grain. Well, if I show you in the back here, if you'll look, now the tracer is over here in my right hand. See the back? It's capped. What the deal is all this tail is, it's cargo. That's your phosphorus or whatever it is that actually makes the round trace. That's what's inside of there. Now, the catch here is, if you load it with powder, if you're, especially, let's say that you're not necessarily getting maximum, but you're really loading it to be a burner. You want it to be fast, have some power. If you load this for the 62 grain bullet, you're going to have way too much powder in there, and which there are some powders that it's okay to compress, but 9% chance that you're going to have so much powder that this is actually going to compress that powder as you seed it to be the right length, because this tail is so much longer. So then what you have to do is start adjusting, pulling powder out for your length, and then you get into issues with not having enough powder. So anyways, it's not cut and dry. There's not really much data out there for it. For the 62 grain rounds, it's a good idea to pull out at least 1.5 grains. I think the Army, for their 62 grain tracer versus 62 grain full metal jacket, I think they pull out 1.7 grains. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere around there. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and load some of these up. Not very many, but got some brass already primed up. Right down here. And we're running the CFE 223. And I'm actually loading this with 24 grains. Is what I'm going to run in here. And with these longer projectiles here, usually you have to hold them until you get it up in there where your die will hold it. They are pretty long. And the seating depth that I'm shooting for on these is, I'm shooting for 225. That's actually 2251. Sometimes you can bring it down just a hair more. 225, yeah. That's a old deal if you're not really worried about overall accuracy. If you've already seeded and everything and you're just 1,000 or 2 off, you can stick it right back into that seeding die and hit it a couple times, and usually you'll bring it down 1,000 or 2. The reason that you got to worry about that is because you're getting right at the end, at the edge of your magazine capacity as far as length goes in an AR. So, see if we can get that to stay in there. You get some resistance on this one before we crimp. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, I'm getting some, these are getting all over the place. I guess my brass is that I'm using, it is not quite as uniform as I'd like for it to be. I'm not going to load very many of these. I'm just doing a load workup on these. I want to see if this 24 grains is going to give me a good round or not. Let's see what it gives me. Now there are actually some powders that are specifically designed for use with tracer rounds because they do a better job of igniting the powder. I don't know what the differences are in them, but they do run a different powder for a tracer round, as far as I know. Now again, I'm no military armorer, so I don't know. I don't work for Federal, but that is what I hear. Maybe if any of you all know any differently, you'll let me know. I'm going to back us back off here because I was a little low on that one from adjusting down for the previous one. But with these, I'm not putting so much powder in these that I have to worry about overpressure from seating a few thousandths too deep. That's one of the good things about not running to the maximum. Even if you've done a workup, so that's just perfect there. But even if you've worked up from a lower weight, lower charge, if you're just plinking and you're just taking it out there and running some rounds through it, if you're loading for maximum, even if you have worked up and yes, your rifle will hold it, you've got a good reliable load, why do it? Why go out there and run your car? So what, you have a Corvette, you have a Honda Civic that will turn 10,000 RPMs. Why run it like that all the time? I just don't understand it. See, like on that, since my brass is not uniform, the one before was dead nuts, 50,000. This one is all the way down to, what, say 44? And that's just differences in the brass. But what I was saying is that whenever you don't load for maximum, if you have little variances in seat depth, stuff like that, if you're just plinking, it's okay. It's everything will be soaked up. For lack of a better term, it comes out in the wash. Now, if you are one of these guys that's loading for tip-top accuracy, you've got to have the utmost in repeatability. Well, yeah, but you're going to be more careful and everything. You're not going to have those errors. Let's see here. Right now, I'm measuring 52. Let's see here. Without changing the adjustment on the die, see if I run it in a couple of times, if that changes anything. 51. Yep, only gave me a thou that time. And ideally what I would do once I get this load worked up and set, it's not going to be for maximum. I'll actually shoot for under 50 as my preferred setting. I'll probably shoot for like 45, which that's why some of these that are a little under 50 I'm okay with, because I'll probably end up going to about 45. That way, for variances in brass and stuff, I'll still be able to get them all in my magazines, and it'll be fine. So anyways, there we go. I think this is my last piece of brass I've got to run these in. See what we've got. Now, see, look at that. That one is 60. It's like How the hell did that one end up being 60? Strange stuff. Let's see where that got me. And if you pay attention up here to the slot, to where you're indexing it, you get a pretty good idea of how far to go. See, now that's 50 there. What I'll do is I'm going to run back just a hair and cinch it there. And that's some 62 grain tracers loaded up, and these are the orange tips. That one's an orange tip too, it's just the orange is gone. But anyways, that's them. We'll see how they do. And something I do whenever I'm working up a load, yeah, I said that. Like right here, I don't know how well you can see, but like on this one I've got 55 grain FMJ, 25 grains CFE223, 3,000 feet per second, an approximate 3,000 feet per second. Now, this one here, 55 grain FMJ, 24 grains CFE23, or 223, approximately 2,900 feet per second. I would say this one, I'm going to end up having to mess with my gas block a little to get it to cycle well. But that's what I'm doing. I've just loaded a few of each, got them labeled, run them in a mag, see how it does, take some notes on it, and come up with a good low recoil load. That's what I'm shooting for here. Something that's got just a low amount of recoil. And then the tracers that's a whole nother animal. That's going to be a different test. I know that my barrel will take any published Hornady manual or Hodgdon or any of these published manuals. I know that my gun will take their maximum load. That's not really something that's even a challenge. I mean, I know that it would take that. Now, if I wanted to go above that, or I had a different powder, that would be different. Then I'd have to work up. But most of the work that I do is working down, looking for, to save powder. That's the other thing about, if you run a light load, if you don't have to run, a real fast hot load, why do it? Because you're just wasting more powder. And in rifles, I mean, you're talking about a couple of grains per load sometimes. That adds up. Handgun stuff, you're talking about tenths. And so, a lot of times it's not as drastic of a difference. But on the rifle stuff, you can definitely save some powder that way. Anyways, thanks for watching.